at an expo, this would be what people would pay money to come see. So, first of all, I got to say thank you to Mike Sandrock. I don't know if you guys have seen Mike's mug in the back of the paper for So Rock's just, I mean, for the town like Boulder and the surrounding communities to have an advocate for our sport, it's really huge. And it's made for like the progression of people continuing to follow the sport. And so thanks for Rock being here, help setting this thing up with getting these guys on board. And Rock's, hey Andrew, you cut the music. Thanks. Rock's been around forever. He just got inducted to the Colorado Runners Hall of Fame. And honestly, the inspiration for this came because when I first graduated college, I picked up Rock's book, and it was Running with Legend. I don't know if you guys have seen that book. So this book for me was like instrumental because I was fresh out of college, and I was trying to like make my way into moving into professional ranks. And this book was like an encyclopedia for what guys that I was trying to emulate did. And two of the gentlemen here were in this book, and they kind of paved the way for people like myself to earn a living in track and field. And so Rock's like traveled the world from this thing. And a funny story that he told me about it is that his first royalty check was actually a bill. They sent him a bill for it, so like, hey, thanks for all your effort. You owe us $450. So, but it's still around, actually, still as Barnes & Noble, isn't it? Yeah, it's still around, it's cool, but he's written a bunch of other books along the way. This one, Running Tough, we'll have some of these copies too, but just people's favorite workouts. So it's not like, it's just like, you can open it to any page and find some guy's kind of background and favorite workout in a typical week of training. So it's kind of a cool little tidbit. So thanks, Rock, for being here. How many of you thought Frank Shorter was coming today? Those of you who know Frank.
I knew he wasn't coming.
Yeah, for those of you who know Frank, probably wouldn't be that surprised. He tends to overcommit at times, and honestly, I don't even know where he is, but he's not here. He told me on Tuesday he couldn't come. So it was, well, you know, in building this up, it was like, all right, we're 10 days out from the Boulder. Frank was obviously a big part of getting that race started. He won the race. Arturo won the race 4 times. So it was kind of, the focus was a lot about Boulder and the build up to that. Well, since Frank's not here, we don't have to talk about that as much. But that's why I put in a call. So I put in a call to Jonesy on Tuesday, and we had, in my mind, I had plans for Jonesy and some of the athletes I was coaching to do a clinic here later in the summer. But I said, hey, we got kind of a last-minute deal. He defines the word legend, beyond. So both of these guys, it's a rare combination of talent levels. So they, just to give him a few accolades, but Arturo grew up in Mexico. He ran equivalent to about a 4:06 mile when he was 16 years old. 4:04 mile. So as a high school, what would be a high school sophomore, he's running at a really high level. Well, he went on to college, which I would appreciate him talking about that a little bit. He had a different college experience than most. Especially most American athletes who use college as the platform to then move on to getting a contract and becoming professional runners. He went to A&M of all places in Texas, so we won't hold that against him. But so Arturo went on to do so many amazing things, but world record holder that stood for a really long time. How many years did he stand for? 4 years. Ran 27:08 for the 10K. So that's. Gosh, to put it in a little bit easier, it's hard to conceptualize how fast that is, but it's about 4:22 a mile, right?
We got 65.2
per lap. Yeah.
Wow.
So about a little over 4:20 a mile for 6 miles. He also set the 1 hour world record, which is, he ran 2 28:15s back to back, right?
It was, the first one was like 28:25, and the second one 28:12.
Oh, okay.
Back to back.
So back-to-back 10Ks on the track. So 1 hour it was a cool event in Inglewood?
France.
France. And the world record was broken. But it wasn't broken until like 2 years ago, 3 years ago by Guy Brasileski, who's the greatest of all time. So, but it was as far as you could go for 1 hour on the track. So it just takes a huge amount of perceived effort of knowing how to gauge your effort on the track for that long. So had that world record forever, was fifth in the Olympics, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Won the boulder 4 times. So Jonesy is also had a unique background in coming into this sport. And once he gave up cigarettes, he was ready to try to and running, and it was a natural transition really from cigarettes to running. So both these guys have been 30-year plus residents of Boulder and trained here, and this has really become their homes. And Jonesy, his forte was, everything, cross country, world cross country, was a bronze medalist. Really dominant on the roads, would race like continuously as part of his training, and unbeknownst to me, somehow would run well in the middle of like a 100-mile week. For guys like me, I would taper for like a month and then I'd build back up, and he just would keep racing and would fly to Spain and pound it out a half marathon and fly back and start training right again. Had the world, well, did you ever have the world best? I know he missed the world record by 1 second in the marathon and ran 2:07:13. So that's really fast. And when he did it, that still is world class now. When he did that, it was just unprecedented. Only a few guys in the whole world were running that fast. Now, if we removed Africa from the equation, there's still only a few guys in the whole world. So did that at a time when it was like, didn't let his mind hold him back, and ran in the marathon in a way that is not pretty for most people. Like went out as hard as he could and would hold on as long as he could. So it just, it worked. And for Jonesy, it worked amazing. So we're really glad these guys are here. I'll kind of just get us going with a couple questions, but certainly want to hear from you guys, because that's the best thing, is what you're curious about. Training at altitude, preparation for the Boulder, tapering down for it, the race itself. Arturo ran the same course that you guys will be running. When I ran it, I only got second, and I did it on the criterium course, and so it really doesn't relate. It's just a totally different experience. But just thoughts on the race itself, and I know there's people, even some staff people that would go unnamed here, that have struggled on that course. Sorry, sorry. Some people just struggle with like the whole thing. We're happy to talk about like how to temper all of it, how to handle like the bathroom lines or whatever it is. So, but really, it's about anything, and their background is just immense, and their knowledge of the sport, of running, of distance running, of the fuel side of it, all of it is